Morning, welcome morning meeting. So here's what's on my mind this morning. So the other day I mentioned that I was subbing at a local high school and I was subbing for an English teacher. And this teacher released their assignments on Monday, and then the next day I was there, Tuesday, and I knew all of that. And so I said to them, hey, here's what you need to do. Do your assignment first. So whatever she's assigned, that's what you need to work on first. After that, here are some other options for you. And they were all optional. And one of those options I gave them was, hey, you could write a children's story. You could do an outline for a book. You could start a story of some kind, any kind. That's a good use of your time. You could try that. I had other options, but that was one of them. And one student took me up on that, one that I'm aware of. And that's because he kept checking in with me about what he was doing, and I was checking in with him about what he was doing because I wanted him to stay on task. And so he was doing that, and I was like, okay, cool. Worked on it through most of the period. Now, this kid could have just left and be like, I'm done. I don't do this anymore. It's just stupid anyway, right? He could have done that, but that's not what happened. Later that day, I went to, not that day, the next day, I went to pick up my daughter from school. And this student is in her class, not her English class, but in her overall class. And so when I picked her up, she gets in the car and she says, oh, by the way, so-and-so said to tell you that he finished the story. I have no idea what he's talking about, but he said you would know. And I said, yeah, I know what he's talking about. So I explained to her what had happened the day before. And she's like, oh, okay. So then this morning, my daughter looks at me and says, what do you want me to tell him? Okay, I didn't realize there was something I needed to tell him about this. Okay, why don't you just ask him if he wants me to read the story? I'm happy to read the story if he wants me to. And she's like, okay. So I won't know until later today the end of this. But I just thought, wow, I didn't realize I connected with this student in the way that I apparently connected with this student. And I was pleasantly surprised to discover that because you just honestly never know who you're influencing and how you're influencing them. You just really don't know, right? Most of the time. I mean, occasionally you do, but most of the time, especially in substitute teaching, I rarely know if I'm having a long-term positive effect on anyone unless I'm doing a long-term sub gig, which I tend not to do anymore. So you don't really know, you know? So it was really nice to find that out that he valued my opinion apparently more than I realized. And he valued my perspective on something more than I realized. And I guess that's what I'm gonna leave you with. Think about that throughout your day. The people that you are influencing and don't realize that you might be influencing, and how would that guide, or how does that guide, or how will that guide your behavior and your responses throughout your day? Give it a little thought. That's what I'm doing this morning. And then I'm gonna go do some writing. Have a great day. See ya.